Millennial to power millennial, good morning. Namaskar. Oh, millennial to power millennial, good morning. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, April 22, 2022, Wednesday, 3 a.m. नमस्कार, मैं सूरज सिंह सिविल इंजीनियर भारत इंडिया से बोल रहा हूँ। आज 20 अप्रैल 2022 बुधवार सुबह के 3 बज के पिछला वीडियो कट गया 2 मिनट में ही. Last video I lost just in 2 minutes and I don't know, still signals are visible, frame rate is too low. But I don't know what's happening. I talked to Airtel guy yesterday. Still problem persists. I don't know it will continue or not, but let me see. Still some signals are available. Video bit rate, frame rate and audio bit rate. Again 0. 0, 0, 0 is completely down. I'm not sure it's being working just 1 minute. It's 1 minute completely down and I can't say what shall happen. Let me see him and see if it continues fine or else it will fall away. Just it's 1 minute and only 4 FPS, which is not worth. Audio bitrate only K40. Let us see, means I don't know what's happening. Whether organizations are sleeping or what's happening. God knows what's happening in this world. People are careless, nobody is professional. It looks people are not professional. I'm not criticizing it, but please don't take it that way, because I'm finding problems and that's why I'm trying to reflect that to people. Many of you may not be using live, so you don't know signals at that time when you're working, but during live session there is a column here for signals which says stream matrix and it gives about video bitrate and it gives frame rate and then this audio bitrate. You can try yourself, just try live and don't even if you're not ready, just to know how these signals work. You can check yourself for knowledge value. Otherwise, if you are not alive, just browsing, just browse websites. You may not know, but during live session, there's a column here for stream matrix, and you know what 3 levels are there. One is video bitrate, other is frame rate, and one is audio bitrate. And graphics are shown there in the live session. So we know what's happening and it collapses otherwise. Well, I move forward and say that this is my, you can say email ID here, this is my board here, and this is email ID. You can see SURAJ Suraj underscore ENGINER at yahoo.co.uk. Please make sure that if you send mail, this identification is fine, because sometimes underscore is not clear, so people miss it, and it happened. Actually, it is SURAJ underscore is very important. ENGINER at yahoo.co, not com, co.uk. Be careful about this. And this is my telephone number, this is the address. Please just send email. I'm interested in emails because I can answer you professionally. And this is, this is my identification, official identification, that I'm fellow of engineers, then I'm chartered engineer, then international professional engineer, then arbitration engineer as well. And this is my certification of international professional engineer, and this arbitration engineer. I'm on roll of arbitration engineer and on panel of institution of engineers, and that's this one. Here is chartered engineer certificate. That is civil engineering division chartered engineer certificate, because I am fellow, and this is file related to quality and coordination. I am closing chartered engineer certificate for time being, because is also closing file of arbitration engineer, because it's also not required for time being. I'll put some of the files in between just to let you know who's talking to you. And now back to you. I'm on quality file, and quality file that talks seriously about quality. Quality means which is a very important part for me as a professional, as well as for everybody who is a professional or who is a user, a product user, who pays money to buy product. And coordination files asks everybody what is meaning of coordination and what's meaning of quality. And the quality cannot be, you can say, it is something that is mandatory, even though there may not be rules, but if you pay to buy something, everybody expects that one should get quality product. means whatever is indicated on product or whatever is claimed about product or what specification product should have, that product must have that, or else we can start we are being cheated in that way. We all buy products, it's life. We buy products which are to be used only for couple of months, some are used for couple of years, and some are used for whole life. And it's not independent product as well, or it's not that only individual uses it, public uses it. You have products like infrastructural, national infrastructure or state infrastructures. It's money of public that is used, money of people that is used, or it is your own project which is private one, but quality applies everywhere. We cannot say that this is a product of state, I should not worry about quality. Don't forget, whatever development happens in every country, all countries, you can say in your country, whatever happens in countries and states, it's your money, it's money of taxpayer. And when you have your own product, your own project, for example, you construct your own building, that too is your money. It is your personal money or savings money, that is public tax money. And it applies to all world. It cannot be taken for granted. We should not allow everybody to rob nation or to rob public money, public fund. We have to be little serious people, serious citizen in this regard. A belonging sense should exist, which is missing. Maybe you say I'm talking something illogical. You may say that, but it is logical that I am talking of quality. I talk of quality. I shall be talking of quality, and you too should do that, because quality is something that is a measure of life. How life moves, we cannot say that we don't. Life is important part, individual quality also a part of that, group quality a part of that, social quality a part of that, national quality a part of that, professional quality, social quality, individual quality, personal caliber, competency, consistency, leadership quality, all you can consider in walks of life, every walk of life. I cannot say if I'm not a professional, I should not think of quality. Quality is my right. It's not your right on blank page, empty page. It's your right on, because you spend money on that, you require it, and you are well competent to get it, you are well privileged. It's your right to get quality. And actually, I think it is only carelessness or ignorance that people are not serious about it. Otherwise, everybody is interested in quality. Not only in systems of quality, in quality system, but also on product quality. And here is only difference. People try to prove that system is working, system works. But I'm not interested in system works, I'm interested in quality works. Quality system is one part which is theoretical, which is self-defined and self-approved, and of course within certain guidelines of quality system. System you have, but my pick point is, my confirming point is, when I randomly check product, it should conform to quality, but in majority of cases this doesn't happen. Quality is not delivered means system is broken. Simply, certificate doesn't mean anything if system does not work according to requirement and product is not delivered per quality inclusion. And that's what I say. Many people believe it, many don't believe it, and many argue for sake of argument when quality does not exist. Some people say no problem, it is little, or it happens, no, sometime it happens, people comment like that. It's only those people who do not know ABCD of quality and they try to accept everything. And that's what is happening. We have many products in life. We buy many products every day. We products very little amount product or very expensive product both. For little amount product, people don't mind. Okay, no problem. Next time I won't. Means they just try to cover that person who doesn't give quality. And but I'm an engineer. My basic sense is different. I should think of quality, and if I don't think of quality, then there is no meaning of my becoming engineer or my becoming contractor or my becoming consultant or whatever I have. That competency, that consistency has got no meaning if I can't think of quality, if I can't deliver quality. This means I'm not qualified, in fact, for that. It's not simply qualification here, that's academics, that's qualification of competency, qualification of caliber. That I can't do quality work, I can't coordinate. And that's what I say, that there are, say, two domains, which we may call domain, we may not call domain, and that's real quality and real coordination. When I talk of real, this means this should be practical. It's not simply on papers, but should be on products. Real quality and real coordination are very important for me, for everybody. And if we can't do that, there's no meaning of being a professional. A professional is a professional. A professional must justify that professional meaning that professional understands. I don't consider only academics is professional. That is a professional start, we say. It's a whatever degree you have. I'm not going to criticize any academics degree because that's a must. And without academic degrees earning, you cannot enter a profession. That's also true. But you cannot just put a full stop or a period on a degree. You have to start working when you get degree. Start working doesn't mean job. I'm saying that to practice of that work which you are going to start or whatever work you are given, it should be within requirements. It should be within specifications. It should be within purview of designs. Designs and designs executions both must be within agreed quality limits. And that quality is real quality. I'm not saying that you can't have variations in quality. Everybody has a right to have variations in quality because of many issues. Materials are variant, methods are variant, and of course formula are variant, specifications are variant. All these variant must be understood, and whatever is defined for certain limit for certain product, that must be delivered. It doesn't matter if you have to deliver gold, you deliver diamond, or to deliver no. Whatever is required to be delivered or to be produced or to be manufactured, it must be that. It's not simply on package you write something, but it doesn't work. It doesn't have any meaning. If you think your package document is fine, but system does not work in quality. It's same thing. You have a system, you define system with complete formula, but it doesn't work. Means you don't get that product. It happens, and I'm not interested in that. I am interested in quality of product, and that quality of product is rarely available, and that's unfortunate. That no control on quality. Quality control or quality lock is not unlocked. Who has key? Key is with those people. Key of quality is with those people who work in system, who work in process. And those people, because they are not very strict, they are not concentrated. They should concentrate. They lose quality of concentration. They move out of line, out of path, and that's why they miss something. And because they are unable to achieve quality system due to whatever reason or quality of product, this means they also miss coordination work. Coordination means it comes from various points and focused on one point. That information exchange or that information flow is missed somewhere else, or illogical information comes there. And that's why we have to be very serious about this issue. We cannot go without quality, we cannot go without coordination, and it is engineers' duty to do that because they can handle it successfully. And we have to establish both these permanently in our profession or in life. You can say everybody has a right of this, and that's why real quality engineering and coordination engineering are a must on working designs, construction processes, manufacturing, and in assessment and consideration. And we can say we have to plan, we have to do, we have to check everything, and have to fix real quality in our country and everywhere. And he says, come what may, no excuse for whatever concession, no excuse for quality requirement, no excuse for compromise, no compromise in just the name of fragile existing quality system. Compliance formality and its excuse. Quality system may fail, but works quality must perform. Whereas it doesn't happen currently in the entire scenario in our Bharat, India. Preliminary considerations where does required quality access. So existing red lines we resolve, we have to resolve it, and that's very important point. And we now go to coordination, and reliable coordination is very important. And engineering in projects, public and engineers, etc. Is very important point. We cannot just run away because of that. We have to see ourselves well established, and that's an important point. And we have to think of. I could speak in Hindi, but here I'm just going to for everybody. This message should go to all people, and that's why I'm not confining myself to Hindi language or some regional language. Reasons being that everybody has a right, and those who are interested in this, they know what is quality and they know language. Missing real quality means missing good engineering, and it's a very important job that we cannot miss it. We should not miss it. And there are very points on that we'll consider. Then I'm going to, because I don't know, I'll come back to this file later on. Now I'm going to just 15 minutes over, no problem, but I'm going to open another file, and that is file which we continued last time, and that is concrete file, and that coordination file, concrete file is here. I'm going to open it now, and that is concrete file. Yeah, that is we used to discuss last time. Until last time, many times we discussed that one, and it's really interesting. I'm going to open this now, concrete file from Japan, because specifically it is for people. It's very important file, and we have to. This is that cover of file, and we see, I think, let us say 230 pages or 40 pages it is. Let us see where we reach here, and how does it work. And let me say 240 pages, and form of showing. I'll go further. Quality control of concrete structures, and that is here. What I say, inspection conducted by contractor, and before that, quality control of concrete structures. Let's come back to just for refresher what we did last time. Quality control during construction, and let us say quality control of concrete, and this is quality control of concrete production. So it's a quality control of concrete material and reinforcing material we discussed last time, because there was some disruption in video that time. Let's use quality control. If we speak fast about that, yesterday we covered it, but there was a disruption at the end. A journal is for execution of concrete work. For execution of concrete work, quality control shall be performed appropriately in all respects and all aspects of work, including concrete materials, reinforcing materials, equipment, concrete production methods, construction methods, and concrete structure until completion in order to construct a concrete structure with required quality economically. Quality control is a series of voluntary activities of contractors, and contractors shall develop plans for methods that contractor can expect to be effective and carry them out appropriately. Records of quality control shall be kept for a certain period of time, even after delivery of constructed structure, so that they can be used for quality assurance of constructed structure and quality control for future. Progress controls, quality controls, cost controls, safety controls are important in concrete work. Indeed, progress control, quality control, cost control, safety control are all important in quality work. Of these, quality control is a serious, effective, and organized activity performed at all stages of construction work in order to economically construct a concrete structure that matches its purpose of use. Quality control requires to be performed appropriately in all aspects of work, including concrete materials, reinforcing materials, equipment, concrete production, methods, construction methods, and concrete structure until completion. Quality control in production and construction may be referred to as production control and construction control respectively. So here is a difference between production control and construction control, and that's what it says. And crack inducing joints, this we had discussed, so we are on right path. This is what we say here. A concrete structure can be made to rationally meet owner's requirements, or requirements you may say, if constructed under appropriate quality control, because owner receives a structure that has been constructed under quality control of contractor and has passed inspection. Inspection may be simplified by performing appropriate quality control. Quality control should be performed so that quality should be stayed in a suitable condition. Quality control should be performed so that quality should be stayed in a stable condition. Warning in all stages of construction work should be found as soon as possible. Quality control should be performed so that quality should be stayed. Quality control should be performed so that quality stayed in a stable condition. Warning in all stages of construction work should be found as soon as possible. Warning in all stages of construction work should be found as soon as possible and make an action for it. It's important to establish system containing PDCA cycle, that is plan, do, check, act and action. Plan, do, check, act. When drawing up a quality control plan, it is important to identify a person responsible for each process and construct an organizational system for quickly responding to an abnormality. Since quality control is a series of voluntary activities performed by contractor can perform only activities that contractor deemed necessary. If contractor inspection covers all items and frequency of inspection conducted by owner, measurements conducted by contractor are deemed to be equivalent to measurements conducted by owner. It's possible, therefore, to make passing owner's inspection easier by checking in advance design drawings and specifications and inspection criteria shown by owner and reflect them in quality control plan. Hence, if tests are conducted as part of quality control activities associated with production and construction, it is good practice to use methods that permit objective evaluation and that are easy to understand by owner, and methods specified for inspection purposes. For general tests, refer to test methods. It's difficult, however, to make a comprehensive judgment solely on basis of quantifiable data such as measurements results obtained by means of tests and inspection devices. It's also important to deploy experienced specialists and make judgments based on visual inspections. Quality control records are documents certifying that required quality has been achieved and are also invaluable data that can be used to improve quality and prevent problems in future projects. Contractor therefore requires to store records for a certain period of time. Quality control of concrete materials and reinforcing materials. Concrete materials and reinforcing materials. In quality control of concrete materials and reinforcing materials, materials shall be managed so that they meet respective quality requirements and stay in a stable condition as much as possible. In order to construct a concrete structure of required quality economically, it is required needless to state that quality of concrete materials, namely cement, water, aggregate and admixtures, and reinforcing materials meet specified requirements of it. In addition, it is desirable that variation in quality of those materials be small. State of storage of concrete materials and reinforcing materials should be controlled appropriately so that quality does not change. State of control should also be checked periodically. Although quality of admixtures such as superplasticizer and quick setting admixture or reinforcing materials which being used at construction site depends on condition of construction site. Quality control conducted at construction site, which is important one for quality of aggregate when contractor produces concrete, contractor shall test related quality requirement, quality control of aggregate, and shall keep storage conditions. Grading of aggregate and percentage of surface moisture may be used as an index in quality control of aggregate. For instance, quality control concrete production. In quality control in production of concrete production equipment and production processes shall be controlled appropriately so that concrete of required quality can be produced stably and smoothly. In production of concrete, storage facilities, measuring equipment and mixers must be stored appropriately during production period so that requirements specified are met. In order to continue to produce concrete of stable quality, it is good practice to measure surface moisture content of aggregate with moisture meters on continual basis, and if a considerable change or whatever abnormality in property of concrete is observed, take aggregate samples and compare surface moisture contents. Because it is necessary to ascertain that measurement errors are small enough to stay within an allowable range. If an automatic batching recorder is available, records from recorder should be used to check whether measured values are stable. In mixing control, changes in quality of concrete can be identified by observing state of mixing of concrete on monitor screen and checking mixer load current. Success or failure of quality control can be evaluated by checking, for example, operation and cleaning status of production equipment, equipment deterioration and damage, and properties of concrete during and after mixing. In many cases, evaluation can be made by visual observation or by listening to sound of machines in operation. Test results such as compressive strength, slump, and air content of concrete. Three are: one is compressive strength, one is slump, and one is air content of concrete, can be recognized by quality chart. Obtained data is plotted in chart with mean value, upper and lower control lines for quality control. Range of control line should be defined appropriately. When result out of range is observed, it should be investigated whether reason of change causes change of quality permanently, and a provision for it should be conducted. Control limit line shall be changed based on quality control data during construction period. A histogram is used to represent distribution of quality, and rate of pass or falls and margin for quality can be assessed. Passed or fails you can say, and margin for quality can be assessed by histograms with criteria. Shape of histogram indicates warning in construction process, quality of used material, production of concrete, and testing. Quality control of concrete. Quality of fresh concrete and hardened concrete shall be controlled so that concrete of stable quality can be obtained. Quality of concrete in structure is greatly affected by quality of concrete used. Quality of concrete in structure is greatly affected by quality of concrete used. When controlling quality of concrete, therefore, it's important to accumulate quality control data and analyze data on a daily basis so that relationship of quality of concrete with production of concrete materials and concrete can be quantified. Quality control should be conducted at appropriate period and frequency. Confirmation of mixed proportion, quality control of fresh concrete, slump. So we say in this case we speak fast because it's already done. Confirmation of mixed proportion, before that quality of concrete structure greatly affected, I said. So confirmation of mixed proportion. Mixed proportions indicated in plan do not necessarily agree with mixed proportions of concrete actually produced. It is therefore recommended that production related records such as printed records be checked for comparison with actual mixed proportions. Quality control of fresh concrete. If concrete is not homogeneous in its mix and doesn't have workability suitable for type of work being conducted, such as transportation, placement, and compaction, poor placeability or defects might result. If concrete is not homogeneous and does not have workability suitable for types of work to be done, each such as transportation, placement, and compaction, poor placeability or defects might result. Workability of fresh concrete can be judged to some extent by observing state of concrete during unloading and placement, even if tests are not conducted frequently. If quality fluctuates considerably, tests should be conducted on an as required basis or to identify cause of problems. If quality fluctuates Considerably, tests should be conducted on an as required basis to identify causes of problems and take early corrective measures. It's also desirable that frequency of quality control checks be increased until quality becomes stable. Slump test is slump test is conducted to ensure workability of concrete as well as homogeneity of concrete. It's necessary to check production of concrete with given materials, particle size distribution of aggregate, surface moisture content of aggregate, and so on when change of slump is acknowledged. Slump cone test can also provide an indicator of quality of fresh concrete. Since slump changes with time after finish of mixing, it is necessary to take into account difference in time in which slump test and actual placement of fresh concretes are conducted. Air content change in air content results in change of workability, strength and durability. In order to ensure air content in fresh concrete, air content test is conducted. Since change in air content results in change in slump, since change in air content test is conducted, since change in air content results in change in slump, cause should be clarified. And in case to take countermeasures, surface moisture and particle size distribution of aggregates, temperature of fresh concrete and change in air content are taken into account. Temperature of concrete have influences on slump. Air content, temperature of concrete have influences on slump. Air content, thermal temperature due to hydration, development of strength and properties of hardened concrete. It's an important item for quality control for construction of mass concrete, cold weather concrete and hot weather concrete. Besides, it's necessary to check temperature of concrete during curing. Quality concrete of hardened concrete, because time required to get results of concrete strength tests conducted to test quality of hardened concrete is long. Those tests are usually not suitable for use in quality control. Says because time required to get results of concrete strength tests conducted to test quality of hardened concrete are long. Those tests are usually not suitable for use in quality control. It's more rational, therefore, to spend effort in quality control of materials and production. When rarely produced concrete is used, or during a certain period of time after production is started, or during a period when air temperature changes considerably, it is good practice to check on changes in compressive strength. Quality control during construction. In quality control during construction should be checked whether each type of construction work in progress, such as work related to concrete, reinforcement and formwork and false work, agrees with plan, and if necessary methods being used should be changed to more effective methods so that concreting work can be carried out smoothly. At construction stages, it's important to check whether each type of construction work in progress, such as work related to concrete, reinforcement and formwork and false work, agrees with plan so as to carry out concreting work smoothly, attain required quality and complete work by planned date. It's often not possible to proceed with work as planned because of, for example, changing quality of concrete, changing environmental conditions, differences in experience of workers, and differences in performance of equipment. It is desirable that contractor carefully observes the state of construction work and if improvement requires to be made, gives workers appropriate instructions as to specific methods to be used for further improvement of methods used. Quality control in preparation. Since weather during construction is always in a state of change, it is important to check on weather forecasts in advance and make preparations such as rescheduling work to be done on day or during coming week or taking rain protection measures. Adequate preparation for each type of work minimizes problems encountered during construction. Quality control in concreting work. If methods used for transportation, placement, and compaction, as well as finishing and curing, are not appropriate, it's difficult to construct concrete structure of required quality. To fully understand points to remember and check whether methods described are appropriate on basis of construction plan and quality control plan. In quality control for each type of work, basic rule is to control facilities and equipment used, staffing and construction methods. Prior to placement of concrete, it must be carefully ascertained that reinforcement and formwork or false work have been placed in construct as planned. Transportation to site. Transportation time of agitator truck should be checked to keep given time until finish of placement of concrete so that placing concrete can be continued. Number of agitator trucks based on amount of placing concrete and its placing rate should be determined, and transportation plan for these agitator trucks should be prepared before actual construction. Schedules of managing transportation should be prepared in which planned and actual time for shipping, arrival, finishing of discharge and tests. Estimated time interval, numbering of agitator trucks, amount of loading and accumulation, either quality control or inspection of acceptance are indicated. In addition, it's a good practice to make close contact with a person in charge of quality control at factories and at placing site. These practices make it easy in placing concrete continuously. Transportation within site. It is necessary to manage types of transportation equipments needed or required, and of course you can say its form and capacity, arrangement of personnel and method of transportation according to prepared plan within site. Concrete pump is usually required for transportation within site, and concrete pumping works will be left management or organization to specialists. However, it's important that person in charge of quality should advise properly method of pumping by considering quality of concrete transportation using agitator trucks, compaction, pressure to form work. Placement and compaction. In placing and compacting concrete, order of placement, order of placement, placement rate and its height, interval of layered concrete, position of joints, height of compacting and method of compaction are required to be checked. Proper countermeasures should be taken when actual workability is reduced. The period of time for placement is within allowable time. It is necessary to point out compaction time and interval, since effectiveness of compacting with vibration may be different by conditions of concrete reinforcement arrangement. Finishing. In finishing concrete, number of finishing actions, period and methods of finishing are managed. If we follow to initial planning, appropriate period of finishing may be varied depending on weather conditions and ability of workers. When finishing time of placing concrete is delayed, finishing actions may be carried out during night. Subsidence, cracks and separation occur by finishing with bleeding water. It's necessary to manage schedule of completion of finishing and its methods. Curing. Equipments. The workers' arrangement Equipments, workers, arrangement, and methods required to be checked if they follow to initial planning. For wet curing, a person in charge of quality must understand procedure of curing to avoid improper curing. Inadequate wet curing may result from improper curing with sprinkling water. Sheet and mat at locations of projection of reinforcements. With inadequate wet curing, quality of concrete is reduced as compared with that of water cured concrete. For strength and durability of structure, quality control of curing is important. Steelworks. Following are important notices for steelworks. These also can be applied to quality control for other types of reinforcements. Drawing of bar arrangement, planning, acceptance and storage, etc. etc. Versus drawing of bar arrangement. Types, diameter and length of steel, cover and space, bending shape and position of anchor and joint are checked if they follow drawings. Necessary to check if supportive and temporal bars are needed. There are positions at which bar is not arranged in accordance with drawing and mistakes in drawing. There are mistakes in drawings. Standard planning is standard procedure for planning of bar and personnel, for considering ability, arrangement, storage site within construction site and selection of equipment for bending bars is prepared. By considering load on spacer, necessary spaces of bar arrangement be secured. Acceptance and storage, types, diameter, length and number of bars required are recognized. It is checked if length is enough for transportation and no use during processing is reduced. It is checked if length is enough for transportation and no use during processing is reduced by ensuring if transported steels are ordered once at acceptance they are storage stores so as to prevent corrosion. They are stored so as to prevent corrosion and dirt. Processing. Drawing of processing, content of standard procedure and specification of a slice processing machine are ensured. Types and numbers of bars after processing and accuracy in processing are needed or required to be checked, and controlling within on target values reduces risk of failure of inspection. Fabrication, spacer, band wires, space of formwork, given position and interval of center, effective depth, cover, anchorage length, position of bending, position, length and method of joint, and treatment for compressive steel and weathering are checked. These checks must be completed before placement of concrete. Allowable error in target of control, which is determined based on types and importance of structures. Setup with own values more severe than those employed at inspection, so that risk for failure is inspection is reduced. Refabrication of steel requires a great deal of workers, and hence it is advisable to ensure each steps in fabrication to avoid mistakes. When time is elapsed after fabrication, corrosion, contacting mud and oil and displacement of bar arrangement effects. It is advisable to clean steel and ensure accuracy of fabrication before placement of concrete. Formwork and shoring. Calculation was points are here. Calculation and control, drying and construction, control and use, removal time. These are 4 points that we have to see. They are important ones. Formwork and shoring, and which are calculation and control. Sufficient strength and safety against expected load are required for formwork and shoring. Person in charge of quality control ensures results of calculation of formwork and shoring. Attention is paid for expected, you can say attention is paid for expectation of load, since lateral pressure and external load that is beyond initial expectation may occur. By considering a minimum slump at placement of concrete and change of slump with time, target slump is determined at discharge of fresh concrete in specification. Increase in lateral pressure due to larger slump than minimum slump specified must be taken into account. It's safe to consider change in rate of placing and temperature of concrete. Drawing and construction. Construction is ensured if it follows to drawing, complies with drawing and procedures. Construction accuracy for formwork and shoring is determined so as to obtain a given position, shape and size of structure. It is noticed that accumulated error associated with each work must be still within allowable error. Before reuse of formwork and shoring, it is checked if degradation is not influential to concrete and separation agents are removed. When these care are not properly taken into account, surface concrete contacted with formwork is affected. Corrosion of steel bars used as a fastened material. Corrosion of steel bar used as a fastened material and improper welding wires may result in failure of formwork. This must be paid attention not to occur. Control in use. During placing concrete, leakage of paste and mortar from gap, widening, movement, slant and subsistence of formwork and shoring, softening in joints, floating, cylindrical, mold need be checked to prevent accident and take actions if taking place. Workers in charge of not only concrete works but also formwork and shoring works are placed during placing concrete. Communication with the person in charge of quality control for concrete works should be made to make sure that use of concrete with expected slump, rate of placement and temperature, which are assumed in calculations for formwork and shoring. Removal time by considering temperature conditions of structure and formation of thermal cracks, formwork and shoring are removed. Strength development is slow in low temperature and displacement, and cracks may occur when bottom plate formwork used in deck are removed. Quality control of concrete structures. Until a concrete structure is taken over by owner, structure shall be kept under control so a concrete structure of required quality can be delivered to owner. Passing owner's inspection of a concrete structure can be made easier by checking during construction on state of concrete surfaces, positions and dimensions of concrete members, quality of concrete in structure and concrete cover. Cracking might be caused by long-term temperature changes, drying, shrinkage or changes in state of stress in course of construction, even if there was no visible crack immediately after completion of structures. A concrete structure may also be affected by environment factors such as natural phenomena including typhoons and earthquakes, deformation of surrounding ground, and vibration caused by transportation facilities. It's therefore advisable to periodically observe concrete structure, protection works around structure to check whether there is no there exists no abnormality during construction and after completion of structure until completion of delivery to owner. If whatever abnormality has been discovered, quality control personnel required to report it to quality control leader or responsible engineer and take appropriate corrective measures. Inspections conducted by contractors. Now it's actually new start for contractors inspections, which is maybe very important point. Contractors inspection.